Right friends, welcome back to question and answer module 11. Let us look at the first question. In BCSBI is Banking Codes and Standards Board of India. Banking Codes and Standards Board of India. It is registered under Societies Act. It is as per SS Tarapur Committee recommendations, and this is basically self-regulatory organization in the banking sector. That means they devise their own codes and ethics. Right friends, look into the next one. Name the state where the controversial Aranmula International Airport is situated. This is proposed to come up in 700 acres, which entails an expenditure of around 2000 crores. It is proposed to be constructed in Padanamthitta district of Kerala. It is around 100 kilometers from Thiruvananthapuram and 100 kilometers from Cochin, and this airport is into controversies with regard to the environmental problems, and the answer here is Kerala. This Aranmula International Airport is situated in Kerala, please don't forget. Look into the next one. Which of the following bank is based in Singapore? It is DBS. DBS is nothing but Development Bank of Singapore. DBS is nothing but Development Bank of Singapore, headquartered in city-state Singapore. And if you look at the other banks, that is HSBC is headquartered in London. Standard Chartered is also headquartered in London. Standard Chartered is also headquartered in London. Whereas Citibank is based in New York of United States of America. Please don't forget. Look into the next one. The headquarters of Deutsche Bank is headquartered in Frankfurt. It is one of the oldest banks and established in the year 1870, and this is headquartered in Frankfurt, Germany. Right? Look into the next one. Acquiring sensitive information like username, passwords illegally is known as. All of you are familiar with online banking. For doing transactions through online banking, you will have a username as well as password. One fine morning, you will get an email indicating that you won lottery of $1 lakh or $5 lakh or $1 crore. You will get a fictitious email, and in that email they will ask for your information. Please send your username, please send your password, and that is called phishing. With some emails, fictitious emails, they try to secure your password as well as your username illegally. That is called phishing. Please don't forget, phishing is illegally acquiring your password or username, both password as well as username, and subsequently that will lead to fraud in the online banking transactions. So phishing, please be cautious about phishing, and at the same time please don't forget the other name, skimming. When you are using your debit card in the ATM, people may copy your information by using some instrument that is called skimming. These two frauds are taking place in the banking industry. Phishing is taking your password and username, whereas skimming is copying your information by illegal means when you are using ATM or POS terminal. So please beware about these two, phishing as well as skimming. Right friends, look into the next one. Blue revolution pertains to increase in fish production. When you are talking about increase in marine production, that is called blue revolution. So increase in fish production as well as increase in marine products, that is known as blue revolution. And at the same time, please don't forget, green revolution pertains to agriculture. Green revolution pertains to agriculture, white revolution pertains to milk. Please don't forget these words. Look into the next one. Government recently approved the launch of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gram Jyoti Yojana. This was started in the year 2014. Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gram Jyoti Yojana. Deen Dayal Upadhyay was associated with Bharatiya Janasangh for several years, and the program of rural electrification is named after Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, and the main purpose of this program is separating agriculture and non-agriculture feeders in rural areas. Separating agriculture feeders as well as non-agriculture feeders in rural areas, so that power supply can be regulated to the sectors as per the need in rural areas. That is the main purpose of Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. Please don't forget. Look into the next one in Tapi Pipeline Project. Tapi Pipeline Project was contemplated long ago, but is not taking place because of several reasons. Tapi means it involves 4 countries. T means Turkmenistan, A means Afghanistan, P means Pakistan, I means India. So this Tapi pipeline is basically gas pipeline intended from Turkmenistan to India via Afghanistan as well as Pakistan. Right friends, look into the next one. Regulator for microfinance institutions. Microfinance institutions are regulated by Reserve Bank of India. Please don't forget, and at the same time please do remember one more organization, that is MFIN. Please don't forget one more organization, that is MFIN. MFIN means Microfinance Institutions Network. It is a self-regulatory organization in the microfinance sector, just like BCSBI in banking sector. Banking sector we have just now discussed. Banking Codes and Standards Board of India. Similarly, Microfinance Institutions Network is the self-regulatory organization for microfinance institutions, and the regulator for microfinance institutions is Reserve Bank of India. Please don't forget. The rate at which money is exchanged from one transaction to another transaction is velocity of money. Velocity of money is very important term. That means the number of times money changes hands in one particular period. If you take 1 year, number of times money changes hands is the velocity of money. Let us imagine 2 situations. You kept 10,000 rupees. You kept 10,000 rupees in your almirah for 1 year. It has not changed any hand. That means you have not utilized that money. You kept 10,000 rupees in the almirah for 1 year. But imagine a situation with 10,000 rupees. You went to a garments shop. You purchased clothes for your family. That means you paid 10,000 rupees to the garment shop, and the shop owner immediately paid 10,000 rupees as a school fee for his daughter, and the school management, after getting 10,000 rupees, paid those 10,000 rupees as a salary to the teacher, and subsequently teacher, after getting 10,000 rupees, went to the market and purchased some goods from the market. That means this 10,000 rupees is changing hands from one person to one other person in quick succession of time. This 10,000 rupees is changing hands from one person to other person in quick succession of time, because you went to the garment shop, you paid to the garment shop owner, he paid to the school, school paid salary to the teacher, teacher again went to the market and purchased some goods. That means it changed hands 4 times. That is velocity of money. As more and more times the money changes hands, that is useful to the financial system or economy. And please don't forget, don't keep money idle more than required in your house. Right? Look into the next one. total value of goods and services produced by its citizens whether in India or abroad is known as GNP, gross national product. First of all, please don't forget gross domestic product or GDP. GDP is total value of goods and services produced within the boundaries of the country, whether it is by its citizens or by the foreign citizens. When the goods and services are produced within the boundaries of the country, within the geographical boundaries of the country, that is gross domestic product. But if you look into other aspect, that is the value of goods and services produced by the citizens of the country, that is gross national product. Citizens of the country will produce goods and services within the country as well as abroad. And some foreign nationals may produce goods in our country, that is to be deducted. That means the citizens of the country, wherever they produce goods and services, that is referred to as gross national product. Please differentiate between these two terms. One is gross domestic product. Gross domestic product is the total value of goods and services produced within the geographical jurisdiction of the country, whether it is produced by resident Indians or by foreign individuals, that is immaterial, that is GDP. But if you look at the value of goods and services produced by the resident Indians, that is gross national product. I am giving definition in the context of India, but it is applicable all over the world. Gross national product is the value of goods and services produced by the citizens of any country within that country or abroad. Right? This is the basic difference between GDP and GNP. Right? Look into the next one. Adjustable rate mortgage, that is floating interest. There are two types of interest, fixed interest and floating interest. When you are going to the bank for a house loan, they will ask you immediately one question. Do you want fixed interest or floating interest? Fixed interest means irrespective of the change in the interest rates for next 15 years or 20 years, your interest rate will be fixed. But in the case of floating interest, that will be adjusted based on the index. That is adjusted based on the base rate of the bank. If base rate changes, your interest rate will also change. That is called floating rate of interest or otherwise adjustable rate mortgage. Adjustable rate mortgage is nothing but floating interest. Right friends, look into the next one. The headquarters of New Development Bank of BRICS is Shanghai. Please don't forget. Right friends, look into the next one. Business correspondence model. Nowadays they are called bank myth, business correspondent or bank myth. This model was started based on the letter issued by Reserve Bank of India in the month of January 2006. This business correspondents, they facilitate opening of bank accounts by the rural people where there is no branch of a bank. They are called business correspondents, and this model was started in the year 2006. Right friends, look into the next one. Grameen Bank is primarily into microcredit which operates in Bangladesh. Grameen Bank, Muhammad Yunus, famous for his microcredit, who was awarded with the Nobel Prize. This Grameen Bank primarily belongs to Bangladesh. Muhammad Yunus is the person, Nobel laureate, who has taken this bank to much greater heights. All over the world, several microfinance organizations are trying to learn a lot from the experiment of Grameen Bank of Bangladesh. Look into the next one. Infinet in banking terminology means Indian Financial Network. Infinet is Indian Financial Network. It is the total backbone network for communication between banks and financial institutions. It is the backbone network with the leased lines as well as the VSAT. What is VSAT? VSAT is a very small aperture terminal VSAT is very small aperture terminal. They leased some lines. Based on the leased lines as well as the VSAT, they established their own communication, the backbone established by IDRBT. IDRBT is the research organization established by Reserve Bank of India with headquarters in Hyderabad. IDRBT is Institute for Development, Research and Banking Technology in Hyderabad. It is Reserve Bank of India's institution, basically looks into research in digital services or digital banking. For improving the digital transactions in the banking system, IDRBT does the research and they developed this backbone network, that is Indian Financial Network or Infinet, which is the backbone network for banks and financial institutions. Look into the next one. Telecom services in rural areas derive very little revenue. In rural areas, telecom services derive very little revenue because the usage will be less. The usage of data will be still less. To finance the expansion of telecom services in rural areas, a separate fund was created in the year 2002 and the separate fund is known as USOF or Universal Service Obligation Fund. USOF or Universal Service Obligation Fund, and to increase the connectivity in rural areas, money pooled up under USOF or Universal Service Obligation Fund will be utilized. Right friends? Look into the next question. DTAA, the first year indicates. What is DTAA? DTAA is a double taxation avoidance agreement. The purpose of this double taxation avoidance agreement is the same income should not be taxed in two geographies. Two countries should not tax the income. Income may be generated in one country or the other country, but because of this DTAA, double taxation avoidance agreement, double taxation or taxing the same income in both the countries will be eliminated. That is the purpose of DTAA. DTAA is double taxation avoidance agreement, basically to avoid taxation of income in two countries. Right friends, look into the next one. In LCR, C indicates coverage. As per the Basel norms, three things are important. One is capital adequacy ratio. Banks should be capitalized up to the required amount. Second thing is LCR, liquidity coverage ratio. Banks should have liquid assets sufficient for at least 30 days of their operations. Banks should have liquid assets sufficient for at least 30 days of their operations, as well as net stable funding ratio or NSFR that looks at the requirement of funds for 1 year. These three are important as far as Basel norms are concerned. Right? So here LCR is liquidity coverage ratio, which shows that how much money is available in the form of high quality liquid assets with the bank in comparison to the money required for 30-day period. That is liquidity coverage ratio. Please don't forget these three things: capital adequacy ratio, liquidity coverage ratio, and the third one is net stable funding ratio or NSFR. Right friends? Look into the next one. When a repayment of your loan starts only after a lapse of certain period after disbursement, the period is known as moratorium. Please don't forget. Let us look at an example that you have taken a loan and you have taken a loan on 15th of June. You have to pay interest up to the end of the month, and from next month onwards your EMI will be fixed. That is equated monthly installment. So that means your repayment starts immediately after you take the loan. But in some extreme cases, repayment starts after certain period. Maybe after 6 months, maybe after 1 year. This period where you need not repay back or you need not service the loan, that period is called moratorium. In some cases, banks give this period. You need not repay back or you need not service the loan. That period is called moratorium. Please don't forget. Right, friends? The term used to describe signs of economic recovery or somewhat positive data during an economic downturn is known as green shoots. That means economy is not growing. Economy is in downturn. The GDP growth is abysmally low. But in such cases, there may be some pointers. In some months, index of industrial production may show some signs of growth. In some of the months, core industries growth may be more than anticipated. Such type of incidences indicates that in future economy is expected to grow. So these type of instances which indicate that economy is going to grow in future is what you call green shoots. These type of instances are what you call green shoots. Right, friends? Look into the next one. In MSS, M stands for market. MSS stands for Market Stabilization Scheme. This Market Stabilization Scheme was brought by RBI in the year 2004 to absorb excess capital inflows, and they will be maintained in separate account. Whenever there are excess capital inflows into the country, RBI will absorb those capital inflows under the scheme called Market Stabilization Scheme, and this was launched in the year 2004 based on Memorandum of Understanding between Reserve Bank of India and central government. Look at this question. The loan given by a bank for a short period to make up for a temporary shortage of cash in corporate sector. Normally, corporate sector takes long-term loans for their capital expansions and for their expansions or acquisitions or mergers. They take loans. They are normally of longer duration, but for short duration, if they are in need of money, sometimes they may go for commercial paper. Sometimes they may go for commercial paper to borrow from the market directly, and sometimes they may go to the bank, and bank will give loan to them for shorter duration. That is called bridge loan. So bridge loan is basically loan given by banks to corporate sector for shorter duration. Please don't forget. Look into the last question. The shortfall in priority sector lending. All of you are well aware, priority sector lending is basically 40% of the bank's lending should go to certain sectors, and if there is any shortfall in ensuring priority sector lending, then they have to give the shortfall into Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. The shortfall of priority sector lending by the banks will be deposited in Rural Infrastructure Development Fund maintained by NABARD, and this money will be used for rural development. Please don't forget. Friends, let us wind up this question and answer session. Please do join for 12th module. Have a nice day. Thank you.